Natasha Bedingfield is here. I'm so glad to have you. How are you?
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
How are you? What's going on right now?
Just been traveling for about over a month. I've been like in New York and England, and I had a wonderful show in London. It was a homecoming show, you know, to my hometown.
That must be special for you.
It really was so special, yeah.
And now you're back with a new record, which is called Roll With Me.
Yes.
And in regards to the title, where are you taking your fans with this record?
Yes, you're right. We're taking them somewhere. I feel like I just want people to experience music. And a lot of times when people go to a show, we hold up our iPhones and we're just watching it through a screen anyway. But I feel like there needs to be a reason to leave your living room, you know, to go out and actually, there's something about live music where you actually feel one with everyone else and you feel like it lifts you out of where you're at. And so that's what the album will do, and that's also what I feel like the live show, when we come back and do a tour next year, it will do that.
Oh, perfect. I read that you composed the music so that it will sound great live, right?
Yes, yeah.
And you worked on the record together with producer Linda Perry, and you've already co-written the songs with her.
Yeah.
How would you describe the work you've created together?
You know, it's just got such a great energy to it. It's really fun, and it has a lot of soul and a lot of kind of oomph, a lot of power to it. So I get to sing my ass off, like, you know, and singing it live, it's really like, wow, this is challenging, but like so fun.
And how do you think has she affected the work you do now?
You know, we're in a really great zone together. We really like focused in, and we just, I feel like we have a body of work, and it's going to be amazing to
more to come.
Live. Yeah, and more to come. Yeah, it's good to get the flow going, isn't it?
Nice one. How did you guys end up working together? I know that you did a performance like years ago on TV together, right? Is that when you guys met, or have you known each other before?
We performed at an amazing charity event in LA for homeless youth, and we wrote some songs back then as well. And I think that at that time we both went, let's do some more of this in the future. And I just respect her so much, and I feel like she really respects me. And it's really just good to work with people that you respect and that you look up to and that you trust.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. That's important because you're like pouring your soul out, right?
And a lot of times when I write, I like there to be a little bit of friction, a little bit uncomfortable, because then I feel like I'm growing. So I welcome that as well. So yeah. Yeah,
sometimes you have to take like the uncomfortable path, right? To make things shine again.
Yeah, and Linda Perry's really good at that too, of trying to help someone bring the best out in them. So, yeah.
Props to Linda.
Yeah, props to Linda, for sure.
Now looking back, that's your fourth record. How would you say you evolved with your music?
I just feel like, my voice has changed. It's a little higher and lower, so the range has increased. Because I'm always practicing. I sing a lot live, so I just feel very natural and at home on stage. And the music, it was just the right thing. You know, it's taken me a while to get an album together. I've written so many songs over the last 9 years, but I just hadn't felt like I'd got to this point where, yes, this is something you can play all the way through.
When was that time when you were like, okay, now I'm gonna do it? Was there like a specific event that was just like, okay, now it's gonna happen?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very like when I listen to music, I feel things in my body. And so sometimes I'll write something and I know it's a great pop song, but when I've recorded it, I feel like I'm hearing it and I just feel itchy. Like I just feel, it doesn't feel right yet. And there's definitely something about this music when I listen to it, I feel this kind of breeze, like a wind just kind of blowing. And I feel like it just feels like there's a relaxed feeling about it where it's enjoyable to listen to, and it doesn't feel like it's trying too hard.
Sounds so nice. Very calming.
Yeah.
What I think totally stayed the same with your music is that you just have this power to write uplifting songs, and even though if you also touch topics that are serious, you still manage to end it all on this positive note.
Thank you. I try to. Yeah. Yeah.
But of course, there are upbeat songs on your record, and one of them is your current single, "Everybody Come Together," right?
Yes. Yes.
Would you agree?
Yeah. So we're releasing "Everybody Come Together." It's on German radio. It's all over Germany right now. And that song is like, it's needed right now because there is so much crazy stuff going on in the world and a lot of divisions. And I wake up in the morning and I look at my phone and I'm like, what new terrible story is there? And I feel like in those kind of times, I mean, even if you just think about Brexit, it's like Europe, we kind of need to unite about a lot of things. And here we are talking about kind of getting tribal and going back into like old times and, you know, kingdoms and, you know. So I don't know, I just feel like it's time for us to more like put our heads together and solve things like global warming and the crisis with immigration, you know, with like all the terrible, you know, yeah, you know, there's a lot of things and that we need to kind of figure out. And how can we do that if we're divided?
Yeah, we need to move together, right? Or come together, as you.
Yeah, like the sorry, I was going to look. What I was looking for was a refugee crisis. Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
We hear about it because I live in America, so we hear one side of that quite a lot when we're in America.
There's another song that I want to mention, "Hey Papa," which I think fits quite well with what you just said, right? Because you talk about the struggles we have to face day in and day out, and like all the sad news that are on the radio, the TV every day. Was there a specific event that inspired you to write it?
Hey Papa, we were thinking particularly about how there's been so many shootings happening in schools, and I was pregnant, and I remember the TV was on and I heard this gun shooting. I think it was in Vegas, actually. And I was like, hang on a minute, that is real gunfire. That's not, you know, it was just happening in the background, but I'm like, that is not like a movie gun. That's someone really shooting right now. And I remember going, like wanting to just kind of shield my stomach so he couldn't hear it. And it just hit me so hard. I think just that the mother instinct just really kicks in. And so, yeah, I mean, I had to kind of put a bit about that in the song, and really, like, we want some heroes and some people to save us sometimes from those things, but we are the heroes. I guess that's the answer. It's not in the song. I just asked the question, "Hey, Papa, what's going on?" You know, what's going on? Kind of like Marvin Gaye, where he, you know, what I love is like in the Motown times, there was this music was so uplifting and it was so joyful, but there were some people who actually managed to put in some really real stuff in there. You know, Aretha Franklin talking about respecting women, and Marvin Gaye talking about bombs and stuff, but you know, you'd sing "What's Going On" with a happy smile on your face, so. Yeah. Yeah,
and you picked up on the Motown vibes, right, for the record?
Yeah, I really, I kind of took some inspiration from that, the fact that Motown artists, there was always this amazing energy that came from the stage. That if you were an audience member, you could just receive that energy and give back as well. Yeah.
I think there's some of that energy on your record as well.
Thank you.
Now, what do you think, if we're like talking about your cover, coming back to more positive vibes now, there's a roller skate on your new album.
Yes.
And there's also a song that goes by that. What does it stand for?
So it says "Roll with me." Roll with me just means come along for the ride. You know, I'm going places, and my friends and people have to keep up, you know, and I think you have to keep moving. Although if you stay still for too long, then you're not growing.
I'm not making any progress, right?
Yeah. You have to be a little uncomfortable too, you know?
And there's a song that's called Roller Skate as well, right? Can you let us in on the story behind the song?
So Roller Skate is such a fun song. It's one of my favorite songs on the record. It's the reason that we teased it out first. It's just about the freedom that you feel when you do stuff like that you used to do when you were a kid. And it's important. We're grown-ups, right? But like we forget, we get so serious. And it's important to do the stuff that you love doing when you're a kid and to remember what you're passionate about.
Yeah, and keep the inner kid alive, right? Yeah. Is that something you still like to do nowadays, or?
Yeah, I'm so excited that I'm a mum now and I get to do things like play Lego. You know, I'm going to get to go to Disneyland again and see it through a child's eyes. I love that.
Now that you just mentioned you're a mom now, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
There is one special song on your record that's called King of the World.
Yes.
Who is it for?
It's for my little son, Solomon, he's not even 2 yet. He came to the studio when he was 4 months old. That's when I started writing this album. And so he's been there all the way through. And King of the World, it just says that I like the way I become in your eyes. I like that I feel like I'm king of the world around you.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
How has your life changed since becoming a mom?
It's a whole different thing. I now feel much more connected to other mums. It's like a lot. It's a lot of responsibility to be a mum, but it's so much fun as well. And we're touring. I'm trying to still do the things that I did do, because I think it's important to do your passions and what you're kind of put on the earth to do.
Yeah, because you're still Natasha, right? But
yeah,
you got
right?
a kid now.
Yeah. And I still feel like a kid. It's so weird, isn't it? But I think we all change identities through life. Like we go through different stages.
Totally. What's the most beautiful thing he's taught you so far?
I didn't realize, but I think I've always been a mum. I've always been a mother, but I just didn't have a kid. You know?
You were birthing records before.
Yeah. And I always had the big bag with all the stuff in it that in case somebody needs something, where I have like the, first aid kit, or I'm always trying to feed people. Like if they're hungry, I can feel it. I feel like that person's hungry. I need to give them food. And I guess I hadn't embraced that part of myself. I always was like, I'm just a young girl having fun, so I really enjoy that. And I like being a mother. I like that I can just hug people and like just lie here. It's nice.
Sharing the love.
Yeah.
Nice one. Now he's on tour with you. How does that work?
So solo's quite good. I'm lucky and he's lucky because he really likes meeting people. He doesn't really like staying at home, and neither do I. So we always get out and go, and so far so good. So far it's been pretty cool.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
He'll get passionate about it.
There's some annoying parts because like when you have a kid, there's so many things that kids have. Like when you leave the house, it's like, oh, did I remember this? The nappies, the bag, the stroller, the pushchair. There's just so many things. So I don't know how people do it.
How many suitcases do you carry around with you? You don't want
to know. We have a whole other car just for all the suitcases.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you managed to do it, and I'm sure it's great to have him with you.
I'm determined. I'm like, we will do this. Yeah.
You will.
No, I'm so grateful also to the people in my team and around me, because people have been so kind and kind of like facilitating, it makes me think, man, like single mothers, like I have got a whole new level of respect. Any mother who works and who stays at home, also staying at home for all day, every day. I mean, that's really hard. But also getting out there and doing stuff. I'm like whole new levels of respect.
Yeah, you need so much energy, right, to get everything done. And yeah, like you said, a lot of respect to those that figure it out all on their own. Now that we're talking about strong women, there's a song that was quite striking to me, which is called No Man I See.
Yeah.
And you're talking about no man I see will ever play me down like they're better than me. And you're like talking about women rising up and women being equal to everyone, right? Can you elaborate a bit on what made you write this song?
I mean, this is definitely a hot topic right now, and I'm so glad that we're just keeping on bringing awareness. you know, in the Western world, women do have a lot of freedom now, and you know, a lot of equal rights, and that's wonderful. But there's just definitely areas where I feel like we have far to go, you know. So I'm happy that I get to make a song about that, and then the things that we don't even focus on is in the, you know, in the non-Western world countries. There's so much, so many women are really put down, and you know, really in a really bad place. So there's one line in the song that says, "The nameless should be famous." And I feel like we talk a lot about fame and reality shows, and there's all these stars that people are obsessed by. But I feel like it would be good to talk more about some of the people who are nameless, you know, and who are actually, you know, enslaved and making the products that we use and the clothes that we wear. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just because I've been doing this for so long, and I'm an entertainer, and I've written songs that make people happy. And I think that it would be sad if I have a microphone in my face my whole life and I don't talk about some of the other things that really matter to me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're using your voice for topics like that as well. And like I said before, I think you still manage to not make it like a very sad song, but there's still like this hopefulness in it.
Empowering, right? We need to be empowered. And I think when women are empowered, so much great stuff can happen. And there's so many studies that show, even in these developing countries, when women are given opportunities, when women are given like microloans and things, it's just like the society does so well, because women are able to think on such a broad level, and they can think ahead. There's some unique giftings that women have. So when women are given this kind of power, the whole society benefits.
Yeah. Unstoppable.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced situations where you felt like you're judged just because you're a woman?
Yeah, I think I've produced records before, and I've been told that I wasn't a producer and I'm not allowed a credit. That's happened many times. There's just less women producers, or they just don't get given the same money or acknowledgement. So a lot of times I would produce and I would just be like, I don't even need the credit. I just want the creative control, you know, because I want to be proud of what I do. And it's just, it's so subtle, I think. It's just in the attitudes. It's just a way that sometimes men talk to women that they don't realize can be making them like infants. And sometimes women have to kind of play almost like Marilyn Monroe, like, oh, I don't even know, I'm so blonde, like, you know, you're so right and you're amazing, but maybe just a little suggestion, could we put a little bass, like turn the bass up here, but you're amazing, you know.
Oh God.
It's like sugarcoat your suggestion. It's a suggestion, you know.
Yeah, but that must be so much hard work if you just can't be yourself.
I just hadn't realized, sometimes you just you kind of get used to it, don't you? Like you just don't even know you're doing it.
And that's so wrong, right? That we sometimes don't even get that we are playing a role that we don't even want to play.
You become more aware. I've been afraid of, like when I was younger, I was kind of afraid of the stigma of being a strong woman and how, you wouldn't want to be that woman where people like see you like that, you know? And I think that's part of experience and part of growing as a person, to realize I do want to be known as a strong woman. Yeah,
it probably takes some courage, right? To just show up as the woman that you are born to be.
Yeah.
Now that you got such a long career that you can look back on as a strong woman. Yeah. Is there one moment that's stuck in your head that's was so special that you shared with a fan?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have to say, when I hear stories of how my songs have touched people, it means so much to me. And you know, everybody takes the music in a different way. So sometimes it's like that one, like that. Sometimes if someone will come to me and said, "Look, I was able to come out to my parents because I listened to your song Wild Horses, and it gave me the courage to really be who I am and not to be afraid." And I know that takes so much courage, especially if if you know that the information you're giving someone is going to make them upset with you, or you just don't even know. So something like that. And sometimes I hear stories of people who are actually going through terrible, like, you know, like losing a child or being in hospital, or having to struggle to overcome something. And it means a lot when my music is actually helping them to have faith. And I think that's why it's important to me that my songs do have a hope in them. I also love the stories when you hear like an athlete tell you, hey, I listen to your song before I go on court, or before I, before I do a game or something. It's just like, I'm like, yes, that's so cool.
Nice one. Yeah. It's so crazy how many different connections people have, right?
It is, yeah.
Is now that you got your 4th record out, and are you already thinking about what you want to achieve next, or are you still like celebrating?
I'm definitely thinking about the next thing.
Yeah. Because I feel like artists always go like, okay, got this done, next one.
Yeah.
Is there a certain project that you still want to get done?
I feel like I want to just continually write like that, because I know that gives me so much life. So probably as I do my touring, I'll write my next record. Just, you know, thinking about who I'll collaborate with. And I'd love to score a movie. I'd love to do that. That's like private goals.
That's so funny. That would have been my next question.
Really?
Yeah, because I noticed that some of your songs made it to movie soundtracks, right?
Yeah.
But I was wondering, if you were to score a film,
I'd love to do that.
What kind of film would you like it to be?
Oh, that's a really good... I should be more specific in my goals. That's a good idea. They say that. They say the more specific, the more it's going to manifest. So that's a good thing. Maybe an action movie, or... I mean, it could be anything, really. I've got to get more specific.
You know, you can just start with one and then go to the next one.
I love watching comedies, so probably a comedy would be fun.
Do you like a romantic comedy? And then
you know, one of my favorite movies that someone scored is the one that Pharrell Williams did. Is it Despicable Me, or was it one of those?
Yeah,
so good.
Do one for your son.
Cartoon would be great. That would be great.
What will the rest of the year be like for you? We only got like 3 or 4 months left. Is it 3 months? I don't know. Oh, it's going so fast. It feels like Christmas tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm just promoting my record, and I've got a tour in the States all through October, and then we're planning our tour in Europe. So we're going to come back to Germany for sure and tour here. So I'm excited about that.
We're looking forward to that, but you probably don't have any specific dates for us yet, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But we will.
Okay, we'll stay tuned.
Yeah.
How do you stay sane while you're on tour?
Very important question. You know, the important thing is to stay healthy as well, because you can just like work, you can just tour life. Like there's many pitfalls, and so it's just pacing yourself, just remembering it in a tour is like a marathon. So, you know.
And I saw...
warm up the voice and try and exercise, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I saw a picture of you meditating on Instagram. Is that something you do regularly?
I actually do more yoga than meditating, but yoga is a form, it's like a moving meditation. And I have to confess, I haven't done so much of it recently. That's one of the juggling things that I haven't figured out, motherhood stuff. It's like a lot of different things to, you know... Yeah, but it's like if the baby's asleep, do you want to sleep too, or do you want to work out?
You have to decide, right?
Yeah. But meditation, yoga has really changed my life.
How would you say has it changed
Because
your
I
life?
feel like as an entertainer, I was always like, I've got to be doing something. I've got to be like entertaining you. And I feel like it's helped me just to, no, I'm sitting and I'm breathing, and breathing is doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breath is very important.
Yeah, and when I did yoga, it was the first time in my life that I would meet someone and people would say, how are you? And instead of saying, I'm great, I'm doing this, and this, I would be like, I'm good, I'm really good. And I really meant it. And so who I am is not defined by what I do. It's by who I am.
Yeah, because being productive doesn't make you like a good human, right? It's
and people don't care. People don't care like about the list of things that You know, they just care about how they feel around you, I think. And I'm so more sensitive to that. Like when I'm hanging out with someone, I can feel if there's this relaxed energy about them and it's comfortable to be around them, or if they're kind of like stressed, it's like, wow, okay, that person needs to do yoga.
Because that's what you'll remember about people, right? Because how they make you feel.
And I used to drink a lot of coffee. I used to drink like 6 or 7 cups a day, and so that I could be like, yeah.
No more coffee.
Just 1 or 2 a day.
Yeah, that's probably.
I'm not going to give up coffee. Come on.
Yeah, I tried. It doesn't work. At least 1 cup in the morning.
Yeah, but I just don't want to have fake energy. I don't want to be fake.
Because it makes you feel worse, right? Afterwards, when you're like hitting the bottom after like being on that caffeine high, you're like, okay, gosh, I shouldn't have had that.
Yeah, it helps you to be more in yourself and to own your feelings.
All right, to lots of time for yoga and a great tour. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.